Hello, my good friends, my dear audiences. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West Show with the G&E TV. 1.5 weeks ago, we did one show, introduce one creation, which is in the cooking of it right now. It's a film called Goodnight, Marilyn, with my friend Nina Bosky as my guest. We talked about quite a deal. And the next day, I was in a restaurant eating my breakfast. It was on the huge screen. And with me there, with Nina there, talking about it. And all of a sudden, I have people coming around me for autograph.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Good.
All right, good. And they kind of asked me, are you going to talk about deeper about it? I said, I have to ask the creators. If they give me the green light, well, we'll do, of course. Well, you know, it is still in the making, right? And I have to ask around. Through Nina, I got my good friend, Don O'Melveny,
Yes.
the writer, the great writer behind the whole thing of Goodnight, Marilyn. So to you and to Nina, of course, I give a warm welcome on behalf of my audiences.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, good. That said, still questions of my audiences were not asked, were not answered, right? They kind of started asking me questions. They thought I knew those. I didn't know first. I just heard the name of it, right? So, and to wrap them up into some general questions, I may go through you about the whole thing, right? So, first to Don, please. What is, I know you're the writer. For writer write something, you're the one starting the whole thing. A success, or whatever, or even a controversy. Could be in this case, right? Okay. What is your motivation? What makes you do so?
This story, the inception of this story, Jack, goes way, way back. I was a graduate film student of the USC School of Cinema. And I'm out on my own on a writing emphasis, wanting to be a screenwriter and looking about for a good story. And I happened to stumble upon, this is back in like 1978, 1979. And I happened to stumble upon some books and some things on the curious, mysterious death of Marilyn Monroe. And I started reading it. And I began seeing that there was an incredible story still to be told here, because there was so much mystery and confusion as to how she really might have died. So this led me to start doing some research, and the deeper I went into it, I said to myself, oh my God, there is a great story to tell here.
All right. Okay.
Because nobody knows what really happened. And if nobody knows what really happened, there's a great way to go in there and fictionalize what could have happened. So that was the beginning of the story.
I see. All right. So to my audiences, if you are fond of films, you can't say that I do not know Marilyn Monroe. You can't say that. You can literally say that unless you want to lie. Everybody who loves the film, even without the film, they see the posters of Monroe, right? Okay. Now, Marilyn Monroe is almost an icon, a landmark of Hollywood films, Hollywood movies. With that, of course, followed by a mysterious death. There are different versions, all kinds of versions of how, but never once did people jump onto any conclusion. Oh, there is no conclusion, and there is none, and there couldn't be any. Well, you know, until many years later, until right now. But thanks to Don O'Melveny, my good friend, good writer, and also owner of Bungalow 42, right? Oh, speaking of Bungalow 42, it is a landmark too, right?
Yeah.
When you drive on the tour tram, going into Universal Studio, right? You circle around.
Yeah, I think it's Fox. Is it Fox? Is it on
Fox
Yeah,
20th
it's
Century Fox Studios.
Yeah,
20th
20th Century Fox. You drive around, you see a big square thing, a cubic, big cubic says 42. That's bungalow 42.
Yes.
That's where Nina and Don belong. So, the right people writing the right story about the right character
Yes.
with a mysterious death, with a wonderful life, with dramatic life, I would say. So that gives the foundation of this story, right?
Yeah.
So last time when you were here, Nina, you were talking about those possible ways. You mentioned there are 3 or 4?
Yeah, at least. I mean, it really depends on, and Dawn can speak to this, you know, in terms of the layers in it, but some people think she committed suicide, right? So if you don't know a lot about her, you will just accept what's out there. Oh, she committed suicide. Oh, I don't know that much about her. Most people that know or have investigated anything will either determine that she was murdered or it was an accidental death, meaning somebody tried to maybe, you know, kind of calm her down and sedate her, but they overdosed her and then there was a cover-up. Or that it was like a Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston where you have doctors involved and they actually, you know, it was the doctors.
Some kind of conspiracy?
Yeah, conspiracy. So it's either the mob, the Kennedys, the doctors. But accidental overdose is really challenging at this point, given all the evidence, to really say that's what happened to her. And Dawn has done a lot of investigation on this as well.
Yeah.
Of course, Dawn, you're the writer, and before writing, you did lots of research, right?
And still doing a
yeah,
lot
you're
of
still
research.
doing that, right? Okay, because you have shooting to do. And Nina told me that you spent years and after years of researching those relevant or even irrelevant related documents, right?
Yeah.
So, according to Nina's analysis, there could be 4 major causes, the way I read at it, right? Number 1 could be a suicide, could be a suicidal death, right? Or could be a OD, overdose of drugs or something,
Accidental,
right?
yeah.
Or it could be the mob's efforts, right? Or it could be something political.
At the time.
I hate to say that, but anyway, conspiracy.
Yes,
right?
conspiracy.
So now, to a writer though, do you think when you wrote it, you spread the 4 possibilities evenly, or you kind of like tilt to 1 or 2, or you try to hint on 1 or 2? So what's your position, please? Let us.
Yeah, I would say that the material was meant to let the reader, or in the movie, the viewer, sort of make their own conclusions, but specifically no to the suicide angle. My take on Marilyn's last days was that she was not in a, as a lot of people in the media wanted to portray her as, she was not on a you know, diving into the bottle or diving into a bottle of pills. She used that stuff, but she was not on a downward spiral.
She was not going on a downturn.
No, and the reason I say that is because she had a couple months prior to her death, Fox had fired her. They were doing Cleopatra, and they were way over budget. They were hemorrhaging money left and right, and they saw Marilyn as a scapegoat that they could like close down her picture, fire her, and sort of, you know, kind of stem the flow of the funds going out. Marilyn mounted a one-woman media campaign against 20th Century Fox, where she turned the tables on them, and she got. Bobby Kennedy helped her, other people helped her, but the point is that she righted herself in the eyes of the public, and she even got 20th Century Fox to rehire her again with I think it was like they doubled her salary.
I see.
From $100,000 a year to, I think, at least $200,000 a year.
Back then, though.
Yeah,
back then. You're talking about huge money.
So
yes.
Marilyn was not on a downward spiral. She was up front. She was doing good. She had projects lined up. And I even think she and Joe DiMaggio were going to be married again.
Uh-huh.
She was not in a depressed state of mind. She was upbeat, upfront.
I see.
She defeated 20th Century Fox. Her life was moving forward.
So you're saying she was not in the mind so sick that she's going downturn?
No.
Wow.
The media wanted her to look that way. 20th Century Fox wanted her to look that way. That's the
I
media
see.
spin they were trying to put
I
on
see.
her.
So
But it's not true.
you have evidence, you have document to support yourself.
There's enough material out there that says that it was a publicity smear
All right.
against Marilyn
Very good.
for
Okay.
people to have this point of view about her.
All right. So back to my audience today is one of the very, very exciting moments that we had a chance to touch and retouch the historical landmark of Marilyn Monroe, who passed away on the 5th
of August.
5th of August,
Yeah.
5th of 1962,
1962.
on her 36th birthday.
36th birthday. Yep.
36th
You're right,
birthday.
Jack.
And tomorrow, as we speak, tomorrow will be her 86th birthday.
88th.
88th birthday?
Yeah, 88th birthday. Born in 1926.
Yeah, born in 1926. She could be still kicking alive. Right?
On the other side.
Yeah, on the other side. I mean, if nothing happened to her,
Yeah.
she still could be
Very
Yeah.
kicking
possible.
alive, right? So take Nancy Reagan, for
Yeah,
example. Right?
yeah.
Okay. All right, now. So with me is Nina and Dom. She is the producer and the writer of a beautiful film called Goodnight, Marilyn. Let's take a short break. We'll come back, talk about it more.